Archangel Michael says, "In this very moment of divine timing when your heart feels heavy and your soul is searching for peace, I whisper to you a truth that is not hidden from heaven, that you are seen, you are loved, and you are the only one chosen to hear this gentle voice calling out with urgency. For the angels and even God Himself are longing for you to open the doorway of your heart before the noise of the world tries to erase the holy message that was prepared only for you, and in this sacred unfolding, your life is being surrounded by light that cannot be stolen." Type 1111 if you agree. The heavens lean closer to you now, wrapping your spirit with warmth like a soft blanket that never loosens its hold, and every angel standing at your side carries a flame that shines upon your path so you may never walk in darkness again, because the moment you surrender your fear and lift your eyes toward God, your soul will feel a strength that nothing on earth can weaken, and every wound that once cut deeply into your heart will be covered with a healing grace that speaks softly yet powerfully within you. Like this video and subscribe to this channel if you want to keep God close to your heart. Trust is the bridge that must be built in this hour, a bridge that leads you from the valley of sorrow to the mountain of peace. And although storms may try to pull you down and shadows may try to silence the truth within, the hand of Christ reaches through every barrier with tenderness, drawing you closer so you may know that no tear you have cried is wasted, no struggle you endured was unseen, and no prayer whispered in silence has ever been ignored. For the Father listens even when you cannot feel Him near. Type 555 to receive miracles. The angels plead because time is holy, and each second carries weight in the eternal plan designed especially for you, and while the world may distract you with noise and emptiness, heaven is whispering with urgency, asking you to turn away from despair and look toward the endless love that Christ poured upon the cross so you may live not in fear but in the fullness of His embrace, where every wound is transformed into strength and every burden becomes a testimony of grace that cannot be erased by any force that tries to delete your hope. Do not leave before the end, because this message is heaven's way of touching your life. Imagine unlocking a gentle sound that helps your mind feel clearer, calmer, and more open to abundance. Many people describe it as a wave that shifts stress into hope, and opens doors to new possibilities in life. It's not about working harder but about aligning your thoughts with positivity. Click the link in the video description and comments to discover this sound and invite fresh opportunities into your journey today. When you open your heart now, when you choose to trust instead of doubt, you step into a divine stream where rivers of peace flow endlessly, where light breaks through the darkest night, and where the love of Jesus carries you into a future that is brighter than anything you have imagined. For He does not call you to be abandoned but chosen, not to be forsaken but deeply loved, and even the trembling of your spirit is known to Him who created you with care and placed His breath within you as a sign that you were never meant to walk alone. Every angel is watching you with compassion, urging you to listen, urging you to believe, urging you to take this sacred invitation that will not come again in the same way, and if your heart feels fragile, let it rest in the strength of God, for He is the anchor in the storm, the shelter in the wilderness, the calm voice that whispers when the noise of the world is deafening, and His love does not fade with time but only grows deeper, stretching far beyond your fears and lifting you higher than your doubts. The message is not one of fear but of deep love, of a Father who has written your name upon his heart, of a Savior who walked the road of suffering so you could rise in freedom, and of angels who surround you not as distant beings but as companions carrying light into every shadow you face. And this moment is proof that you are chosen, not by accident, not by chance, but by the divine will that saw you before you were born and decided that your life has meaning, purpose, and an eternal place in the story of God's kingdom. So breathe deeply now, let the warmth of heaven touch your soul like sunlight breaking through the clouds after a long storm, and know that no matter how far you have wandered, no matter how heavy your heart has grown, the invitation is still open, the voice is still calling, the angels are still pleading, and God Himself is still waiting with arms wide open, ready to hold you, ready to heal you, and ready to remind you that you are never forgotten, never abandoned, and never unloved, for you are His beloved child, and nothing can delete the truth that He has written over your life. Archangel Michael says, "The heavens have drawn near again with an urgency that flows like a river of light, and they are surrounding you with the strength of 7 angels who will not let your soul slip into despair, because you have been chosen to receive this message at this very moment. And the love of God is holding you so firmly that even if the world tries to erase it, the mark of His grace will remain written upon your life forever." Type 2323 if you trust in God. There is a reason your heart feels stirred when you hear these words, for it is not just a message but a calling, a sacred whisper that enters your spirit and reminds you that you are seen by the One who formed the stars, and even in the moments when you thought you were forgotten, heaven was watching over you with tenderness, guiding your steps quietly, protecting you from what you could not see, and preparing you for a time when faith would rise stronger than your pain. The angels stand with open wings, their light touching the deepest corners of your soul, and they know the struggles you have carried, the sleepless nights where tears fell quietly, the days where heaviness made it hard to breathe, yet even in those shadows, you were never alone, because the love of Christ surrounded you like an invisible shield, and the strength of God was silently working within, shaping you for this moment of awakening where you would finally understand how deeply you are treasured. Trust becomes the key now, a trust that may feel fragile yet carries power beyond measure, for when you place your whole heart in the hands of Jesus, He carries it with such gentleness that no wound can remain the same, and though the scars may remind you of battles fought, they also shine as reminders of victories won through grace, for every hardship you endured is being turned into a testimony of hope that others will see and believe. And this is why the heavens are pleading so urgently for you to open your heart right now. The Father looks upon you with eyes full of mercy, not condemning you for your mistakes, not rejecting you for your weaknesses, but lifting you in love that heals, restores, and renews. And if the world has ever told you that you are not enough, God whispers the opposite, saying that you are His creation, His chosen, His beloved child. And no power can erase the truth that your life matters to Him in ways you may never fully understand on this side of eternity. The urgency comes because time is sacred, each second a treasure that shapes the path ahead, and while the world is loud with distractions, heaven knows the value of your soul, urging you not to delay, not to push aside this holy moment, because when you open your heart now, you step into streams of living peace that wash away the heaviness you have carried for so long, and the light of Jesus pours into your spirit until even the deepest sorrow begins to lift and a quiet strength begins to rise. within you. What if a simple 7-minute frequency could help your thoughts focus on prosperity and peace? Listeners often share how it brings clarity, motivation, and an uplifting sense of direction. Instead of worry, imagine welcoming calm energy that supports your goals and dreams. Click the link in the description and comments below to listen and experience how this sound can guide you toward a brighter, more abundant tomorrow. Imagine the angels around you, not far above the skies but near, standing close with hands extended, offering comfort you can feel in the stillness, guiding you toward hope that will not fade, and their voices join in harmony with the voice of Christ, telling you that you are safe, you are chosen, and you are loved beyond what words can fully describe. And in this moment, the heavens do not just speak but embrace, surrounding you with warmth that reaches deeper than every wound you have ever carried. Type 999 if you trust Jesus. This is why you cannot let fear delay your response, because God is calling you into a new chapter, one where the chains of doubt are broken, where the pain that once defined you no longer holds power, and where your heart learns to beat in rhythm with His love. And though the storms may still come, you will no longer be shaken as before, for your foundation will be Christ Himself, and in His presence, no darkness can remain. No voice of despair can prevail, and no force can delete the truth of your eternal worth. Let this be the moment you release every burden into His hands, the moment you choose to believe that His love is greater than your fears, and as you rest in His presence, you will find that even the wounds of yesterday become stepping stones toward tomorrow, for He is not only the God who heals but the God who transforms, taking brokenness and weaving it into beauty, taking sorrow and turning it into songs of joy, and taking your story and making it a testimony of His endless mercy and unshakable love. Archangel Michael says, "The time has come once more for you to open your spirit and allow the voice of heaven to reach the deepest part of your heart, for this moment is sacred. It is written with urgency, and it is wrapped in the tender cries of 7 angels who will not stop surrounding you until you understand that you are chosen, not by chance, not by accident, but by the eternal love of God who has prepared this hour only for you, and though the world may try to silence or erase the truth, nothing has the power to delete what has been sealed upon your life by His hands. The Father has been watching you even in your most fragile moments, seeing the tears you thought no one noticed, feeling the weight you carried when no words could explain it, and through it all His heart has never turned away, for He has been near even in silence, guiding your path gently, waiting for the right time to reveal His presence in such a way that you would no longer doubt His care. And that moment, my beloved one, is now. For heaven has aligned itself to whisper into your soul the truth that you are deeply loved. The light that surrounds you is not a distant glow but a living fire that rests upon your spirit, warming the places that felt cold, mending the pieces that felt broken, and giving you courage to stand even when you feel weary. And though the journey you have walked has carried storms, shadows, and valleys of loneliness, every step has been known by Christ who walked beside you quietly, protecting you when danger rose, comforting you when pain overwhelmed, and carrying you when your strength was gone, because His love will not allow you to be lost. This is why trust is being asked of you now. Trust not built upon what you see with human eyes but upon what you feel deep in your spirit, for when you let go of fear and choose to trust God fully, He lifts you higher than the weight of sorrow, higher than the lies of doubt, and higher than the voices that told you to give up, and in that place of surrender, you will find peace that does not come from the world but flows directly from heaven like a gentle stream that refreshes every weary part of your soul. Type Amen if you believe in God's power, and share this video with 7 people to invite peace, blessings, and miracles today. The angels are pleading because the moment is delicate, like a flame that must be protected from the wind, and they are holding that flame before you, urging you to receive it before it fades into the noise of life, for this light carries strength that will not only heal your wounds but also guide your future, showing you that every battle you faced was not wasted, every tear shed had meaning, and every cry in silence was gathered into the heart of God who has been working behind the scenes to turn your pain into purpose and your trials into testimonies. Type 1818 to claim miracles. Lift your eyes now and imagine the heavens bending low, the skies opening gently, and the voice of Jesus calling your name with such tenderness that every fear within you begins to soften, every doubt begins to crumble, and every shadow begins to break apart, because His love is not harsh or distant but gentle, steady, and eternal, and when you hear Him, you will know that this is not just a message but a promise, a covenant that He has written over your life from the very beginning, one that no one can erase. You may feel that you are weak, but in His eyes you are strong, for His strength is perfected in your weakness, and you may feel small in this world, but in His kingdom you are treasured, and you may think your story is filled with too much pain, yet to Him your story is the canvas where He paints redemption, hope, and healing. And this is why heaven is crying out with such urgency for you to embrace this truth now, because when you believe it, chains will break, burdens will lift, and light will fill the darkest parts of your journey. The world may try to convince you that you are forgotten, that you are unseen, that you are unworthy, but let the voice of God speak louder than those lies. For He says you are loved without measure, chosen without condition, and held without end, and even if every other voice fades, His will remain constant, whispering to you in the stillness of your nights and in the rising of your mornings, reminding you that you belong to Him and that nothing, no storm, no wound, no shadow, can separate you from His love. So let your heart rest now, let the weight you have carried fall into His hands, and let the peace of Christ cover you like a soft blanket at the end of a long night, for this is not just a passing moment but the beginning of renewal, and as you continue to walk forward, you will find that your spirit grows lighter, your hope grows stronger, and your faith shines brighter, because heaven has declared that your life is valuable. Your soul is eternal, and your journey is written with love that will never be deleted. Archangel Michael says, "The cry of heaven is rising once more with the same urgency as the beating of your own heart, and I am sent to remind you that this message is not meant to be delayed, because every second is precious in the eyes of God. And you are being held by the hands of 7 angels who will not stop fighting for you until you finally believe that you are chosen, not by the world, not by chance, but by the eternal love of the Father who has marked your life with His divine seal, that no power can erase or delete. The weight you have been carrying has not gone unseen, for even when you thought you were walking alone through shadows that felt endless, the light of Christ was walking ahead of you, preparing the path, keeping you safe, and covering you with mercy that you did not always recognize. but that mercy has always been there, flowing quietly like a gentle stream beneath the surface of your life. And now that stream is rising into a river that cannot be stopped, washing away despair and filling you with the peace of God that endures forever. Type Amen if you believe. The angels are gathered around you as guardians of your soul, and they weep when they see how much pain you have endured, but they also rejoice because they know that your story is not over, that what has been broken will be healed, and that the weight of sorrow will be transformed into a testimony of grace so powerful that others will look at you and see the fingerprints of God upon your life. For every scar will tell a story of survival. Every wound will become a sign of healing, and every tear will be turned into joy that cannot be taken from you. Hidden within your mind is the ability to shift from stress toward freedom. This sound frequency is designed to gently awaken those inner signals, helping you feel aligned with success and possibility. People describe feeling lighter, more positive, and ready to embrace new opportunities. Click the link in the video description and comments below to experience this journey for yourself and open the door to abundance flowing into your life. This is the reason trust is being asked of you so deeply, because trust is the doorway into everything heaven has prepared, and even though fear whispers that you are not strong enough, even though doubt tells you to walk away, the Spirit of God is urging you to step forward in faith, because when you release your heart into His hands, you will find that His strength is more than enough, His love is more than you can contain, and His grace is more than sufficient to carry you through every valley, every storm, and every trial you will ever face. The urgency is not to frighten you but to awaken you, for time is moving, and heaven does not want you to miss what has been prepared for you, because this moment is holy, and if you embrace it, your life will shift in ways you could never have planned, for the Father delights in lifting you from the shadows, in pouring His light upon your path, and in showing you that you are more than your past, more than your pain, and more than your mistakes, because in His eyes you are His beloved, washed in mercy and clothed in love that never ends. The world may try to erase your worth, speaking lies into your heart, telling you that you are forgotten, but God's voice rises louder than the noise of the earth, declaring that you are His forever, declaring that you are seen and cherished, declaring that your life is written into His eternal plan, and this plan will not fail because it is built upon the foundation of Christ Himself, and when you stand upon that foundation, no storm can tear you down, no shadow can overpower you, and no force can delete the truth of who you are in Him. The angels plead because they see how close you are to breakthrough, how near you are to stepping into the fullness of what God has promised, and they do not want you to delay, for every second counts when heaven is pouring out its blessings, and even now you are surrounded by unseen light, even now you are being embraced by a love so wide and so deep that it stretches beyond your imagination, and even now you are being reminded that you were created not to be abandoned but to live in communion with the Father who longs to hold you close. Your story is not ending in sorrow, but beginning in hope, because the Spirit of Christ is breathing new life into your weary soul, and as you take in His presence, you will feel chains breaking, you will feel wounds softening, and you will feel the gentle touch of healing that only heaven can give. And soon you will look back upon this very moment and know that it was the turning point, the hour when despair lost its hold, the time when hope rose again, and the moment when the love of God became more real than the pain of your past. Type 1919 to embrace healing. So rest in this truth, let it sink deep into your soul like rain soaking the dry earth, let it cover you like sunlight breaking through clouds after a long storm, and let it remind you that you are never alone, because the Father is near, Jesus is holding you, the angels are guarding you, and your life is wrapped in a love that is endless, a love that cannot be deleted, a love that cannot be erased, and a love that will carry you all the way into eternity with peace, with hope, and with the promise of everlasting joy. Archangel Michael says, as the heavens open once again with a gentle urgency that cannot be ignored, I am sent to remind you that this moment is not ordinary, it is a sacred invitation wrapped in light, and every angel around you is lifting their voice so that you may understand how deeply you are chosen, how fully you are loved, and how impossible it is for anything in this world to erase the seal of God upon your life. Because no darkness, no storm, and no power can delete what the Father has already written within your spirit. Your heart has carried burdens that felt too heavy, yet those burdens were never unseen by the one who watches over you, for every silent cry was gathered into his hands, every sorrowful night was witnessed by his love, and every shadow that touched your life was met with the gentle presence of Christ walking quietly beside you, and even though you could not always see him, he was guiding your steps, keeping you from falling completely, and waiting for the day when you would finally recognize his hand in every moment of your journey. The angels stand closer now, their light pressing against every part of your soul that feels wounded or weak, and their voices carry not only warning but hope, because they know that your future is filled with healing, that your path is surrounded with grace, and that your destiny has been carved by the Father himself with purpose that cannot be destroyed. And this is why they beg you not to close your heart, not to delay in trusting, for the gift of God's love is already before you, waiting for you to open your spirit and receive it fully. Trust feels fragile, yet trust is the very strength heaven is offering you, because when you choose to trust even when the path is unclear, you are stepping into the arms of Christ who will never let you fall, and though the storms may still roar around you, his peace will cover you like a shield, and though the voices of doubt may try to rise, his truth will whisper louder, reminding you that you are not forsaken, reminding you that your life has meaning, and reminding you that you are the one chosen to receive this word of love in this very moment. The urgency of heaven is not to fill you with fear but to awaken your heart to how precious this time is, for the world is full of noise and distraction, but heaven speaks in stillness, and in that stillness you will hear the Father telling you that you are his, that he delights in you, and that he has prepared blessings you cannot yet see, and if you open your heart now, you will find streams of peace flowing within you, washing away the despair, softening the wounds, and filling you with courage to walk forward in faith toward a life that is brighter than you imagined. Imagine the skies bending low, the light of heaven falling upon you like warm sunlight after a long night of cold, and the voice of Christ calling you by name with tenderness so deep that every fear within you begins to melt, every doubt begins to fade, and every sorrow begins to loosen its grip, because his love is stronger than your pain, his mercy is greater than your failures, and his grace is wide enough to cover every weakness, so that when you rest in him, you are safe, you are held, and you are lifted higher than anything that once tried to break you. Type 666 if you believe in God's grace. The angels plead because they see how near your breakthrough truly is, how close you are to stepping into the fullness of God's promise, and they cannot bear for you to miss it, for your life is not meant to remain in sorrow, it is meant to rise in hope, to shine with light, and to reflect the love of Christ in ways that will touch not only your heart but the hearts of those around you. And this is why heaven surrounds you now with urgency, telling you to listen, telling you to believe, and telling you to let go of fear so that you can finally embrace love without hesitation. Every scar you carry is being transformed, every tear you have shed is being turned into strength, and every moment you thought was wasted is being woven into the story God has written for you, a story filled with healing, redemption, and renewal. And even though the world may not understand your journey, heaven celebrates it, for the Father delights in you and calls you His own, and that truth cannot be undone, cannot be deleted, and cannot be erased no matter what storms rise against you. So rest in this embrace now, let the peace of God hold you like a soft blanket after a long night, let the love of Christ lift you from the heaviness of despair, and let the voices of the angels remind you that you are chosen, you are cherished, and you are deeply loved, for this is not only a message but a promise, a covenant written upon your soul that will remain forever, carrying you through every season, guiding you into every blessing, and keeping you safe in the eternal arms of the Father who will never let you go. Archangel Michael says, "The voice of heaven is still calling out with urgency, and I must remind you again that this message is sacred, it is meant only for you, and it comes with the weight of 7 angels standing at your side, pleading that you do not let this moment pass, because your life is marked with divine purpose, your heart is written with eternal love, and no power in this world can delete what the Father has already sealed upon your spirit with His unshakable hand." The journey you have walked has not been easy, for shadows have tried to surround you and storms have tried to break you, yet every step you took was seen by the One who created you, and even in silence His presence held you, even in pain His mercy covered you, and even in weakness His strength carried you when you thought you could no longer move forward. And now the heavens are opening before you so you may finally understand that you were never abandoned, you were never forgotten, and you have always been chosen. Every angel that surrounds you carries light, and that light shines into every hidden place of your soul, reaching the wounds that words cannot describe, touching the fears you have never spoken, and healing the emptiness that once seemed endless, for this is not the end of your story but the beginning of renewal, and as you receive this light, your heart will feel the warmth of hope, your spirit will feel the strength of peace, and your life will rise with the certainty that God Himself is guiding you step by step into a future filled with love. Type 1414 to step into divine protection. There is a wave of sound that many believe helps create space for abundance to enter. It's like tuning your thoughts to a higher vibration, where struggle feels lighter and hope feels stronger. This simple practice can guide you toward peace, clarity, and the mindset for prosperity. Click the link in the description and comments below to experience this sound and allow your life to welcome new blessings today. Trust is being asked of you once more, not as a burden but as a gift, for when you place your heart into the hands of Christ, you will find that He holds it with gentleness, carrying it as if it were the most precious treasure, and though the world may shake, His hold will never loosen, and though fear may whisper, His truth will speak louder, reminding you that your worth does not depend on the voices of people but on the eternal voice of God who calls you His own and delights in every detail of who you are. The urgency of this moment is holy, because time is a gift, and heaven does not want you to miss what is being offered, for every second carries weight in the eternal plan written for you, and though distractions may try to steal your attention, the voice of God is breaking through with tenderness, asking you to open your heart, to release your fear, and to believe in the love that has never left your side, because when you do, rivers of peace will flow within you, and the joy of heaven will begin to fill every part of your life that once felt empty. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the heavens bending near, the light of eternity falling upon you like warm rain after a long drought, and the voice of Christ speaking your name with such love that every fear begins to dissolve, every shadow begins to lift, and every sorrow begins to lose its power, for His love is greater than your pain, His mercy is deeper than your wounds, and His grace is stronger than any chain that ever tried to hold you, and in His presence you will find not only healing but a new beginning that no one can take away. The angels cry out because they see how close you are to stepping into the fullness of this promise, and they do not want you to turn away, they do not want you to delay, for the blessing prepared for you is near, the peace you long for is within reach, and the hope you thought was gone is waiting to rise again within you. And if you trust now, if you believe now, the weight of your past will fall away, the fear of your future will fade, and the present moment will become the doorway into the love of God that holds you eternally. Every part of your story has meaning, even the chapters written in pain, even the seasons filled with silence, because the Father wastes nothing, and He is weaving all things together into a design that shines brighter than you can yet see, and though the world may not understand your path, heaven understands it completely, for the Father Himself has guided it, the Savior Himself has redeemed it, and the Spirit Himself has breathed life into it, and that is why nothing can delete your worth. Nothing can erase your purpose, and nothing can separate you from the love that has chosen you. So rest in this moment as though the heavens themselves are cradling you, let the voice of Christ quiet your fears, let the embrace of God soften your heart, and let the presence of the angels remind you that you are surrounded, you are guarded, and you are deeply loved, for this is not only a message but a holy promise, a truth that will not fade, a covenant that will not break, and a gift that will carry you into eternity with peace, with joy, and with the everlasting assurance that you are His forever. Type 1010 if you trust in God's timing. Archangel Michael says, "The voice of heaven still surrounds you with the same unshakable urgency as before, and I must remind you again that this message has been written with eternal love and carried to you by 7 angels who will not stop standing at your side until you believe the truth of it, for you are chosen, you are beloved, and you are the one to whom this promise has been entrusted. And though the world may try to distract you or erase what is sacred, nothing can delete what God Himself has already sealed upon your spirit. You may remember the nights when sorrow felt endless, when every breath seemed heavy and every step seemed impossible, yet even in those hidden hours when you thought no one could see you, the Father was watching with mercy, the Savior was holding you with tenderness, and the angels were guarding your soul with light, and though the storm raged around you, you were never left alone, for heaven's presence has been the constant thread woven quietly into your life, and now it shines brighter than ever so you may finally see how deeply you have always been loved. The path ahead is not filled with emptiness but with hope, for God has already walked before you, smoothing the rough places, lifting the shadows, and preparing blessings that you have not yet imagined. And though your heart may feel weary, though your faith may tremble, His strength will cover every weakness, His peace will silence every fear, and His joy will rise within you like a dawn that cannot be delayed. And this is why the angels are crying out so urgently, for they know that the moment of breakthrough is close, and they long for you to embrace it fully. Trust is the door that leads into this light, and even if it feels fragile, even if doubt presses against you, trust will lift you higher than the storm, carrying you into the arms of Christ who never fails, and in those arms you will find that your pain begins to soften, your wounds begin to heal, and your fears begin to fade, because His love is not a love that changes with time or circumstance but a love that endures forever, steady and constant, written upon your heart like a promise that no one can erase. The urgency of heaven is gentle but real, for time moves quickly, and every moment carries eternal weight, and this moment has been chosen for you, not for another, not for later, but for now, because God does not want your soul to wander without peace, He does not want your heart to remain heavy, He does not want your hope to stay hidden, for He longs for you to rise, to walk in His light, and to know the fullness of His love. And this is why He has sent angels to surround you, to call to you, and to plead with you until you finally believe. Lift your heart and imagine the heavens bending close, the sky opening with streams of golden light that fall upon you like gentle rain, washing over every fear, every sorrow, and every wound. And in that light the voice of Christ speaks your name with such kindness that your soul cannot help but respond, for His words carry life, His voice carries healing, and His presence carries peace. And in Him you will discover not only comfort for today but strength for tomorrow, a strength that will never leave you no matter what storms may rise against you. Type 888 to open doors of abundance. The angels see what is coming, they see the blessings that have been prepared for you, and they cannot bear for you to miss them, for they know that your future is brighter than your past, that your healing will be greater than your pain, and that your joy will be deeper than your sorrow. And this is why they cry out, this is why they beg, because they want you to open your heart, to trust without hesitation, and to receive the love of God that is waiting like open arms, ready to hold you, to restore you, and to remind you of who you truly are in Him. Every struggle you have endured is being rewritten, every tear you have cried is being gathered, and every broken piece of your story is being transformed, for the Father does not allow your pain to be wasted but uses it as a foundation for hope, shaping it into a testimony of grace, weaving it into a song of redemption, and writing it into a story that will shine as proof of His mercy. And though others may not understand the depth of your journey, heaven understands, and heaven declares that your life has meaning, your soul has worth, and your future has purpose. So rest in this holy moment, let the weight of your past fall from your shoulders, let the fear of your future dissolve in His presence, and let the peace of Christ cover you like sunlight breaking through clouds, for you are not forgotten, you are not forsaken, you are not abandoned, and you are not unloved, because the love of God has always been upon you. The angels have always been at your side, and your name has always been written in the heart of the Father who delights in you and calls you His own forever. Imagine listening to a frequency that gently guides your mind into balance, focus, and positivity. For some, this opens pathways to opportunities and a sense of freedom they hadn't felt before. It's about reconnecting with what is already within you and letting it flourish. Click the link in the video description and comments below to discover this uplifting sound and step into a life filled with greater peace and abundance. Archangel Michael says, "The cry of heaven grows even more tender and insistent, reaching toward your heart with the kind of love that will not release you, because this is not only a message but a divine appointment, and you are the one chosen to receive it. For the Father has set His eyes upon you from the beginning, the Savior has poured His mercy upon your life, and the 7 angels around you are lifting their voices so you may understand that nothing on earth or in the heavens above can delete the truth of who you are in God's eternal plan. Your life has not been simple, and your journey has carried weight that at times seemed too heavy for your soul to bear, yet even in those valleys where shadows covered your view and loneliness wrapped itself around you like a chain, you were not left without hope, for Christ Himself was walking quietly at your side, strengthening you in silence, holding you when you stumbled, and protecting you when you could not protect yourself. And though the world may not have seen those moments, heaven saw them all and now reveals how deeply you have always been loved. Type 666 if you trust in God's grace and mercy. The light of heaven is pressing upon you like a dawn after endless night, breaking through the walls of fear, shining into the corners of sorrow, and reminding you that the Father's plan has never wavered, for He has called you not to live in despair but to rise in hope, not to remain in brokenness but to walk in healing, and not to drown in silence but to be filled with the song of His love. And this is why the angels plead with such urgency, because they long for you to open your heart, to trust the voice of God, and to step into the fullness of His promise. Trust is not always easy when wounds remain fresh and fears still whisper, but trust is the pathway that leads you out of the valley and into the light, and though you may feel uncertain, though you may feel small, the strength of Christ will carry you, the love of God will sustain you, and the peace of heaven will guard you. For when you place yourself fully in His hands, you will see that His hold never weakens, His arms never fail, and His heart never changes, and in that truth, your spirit will find a rest deeper than anything this world can give. The urgency of heaven is not a threat but an act of love, for the Father desires for you to know the joy He has prepared, and the angels cannot stand by silently while you risk missing the blessings already written for you, for time is sacred, and this moment is holy, a chance to release the burdens you have carried, to surrender the pain you have hidden, and to receive the mercy that is being poured upon you even now. Mercy that cleanses, heals, and restores until every part of your life begins to glow with the light of His presence. Lift your thoughts toward the heavens and picture the skies parting softly, light descending upon you like streams of gold, and the voice of Christ calling you with such gentleness that every chain around your heart begins to break, every fear begins to crumble, and every sorrow begins to ease, for His words are not empty but filled with life. His embrace is not distant but near, and His love is not temporary but eternal. And in that eternal love you will discover a safety, a healing, and a strength that will never be taken from you. The angels rejoice even as they plead, because they know the goodness that is about to unfold in your story. They know the blessings that are ready to be revealed, and they know the joy that is waiting to rise within you once you open your heart, and they cannot bear for you to hold back, for they have watched your tears, they have seen your struggles, and they long to witness your healing, your restoration, and your peace, and this is why they cry out with urgency, for the time has come, and the love of God is ready to embrace you fully. Every wound is being touched with mercy, every scar is being turned into strength, and every broken moment is being rewritten by the hand of God who wastes nothing, and though others may not understand how deeply you have suffered, heaven understands, and heaven declares that your suffering is not the end but the beginning of a testimony that will shine with light, a testimony that will reveal how faithful God has always been, and a testimony that will inspire others to believe, because your story is not one of despair but one of redemption that cannot be erased. Type 555 to receive blessings and miracles. So breathe deeply now and let the love of God rest upon you. Let the peace of Christ cover you like gentle rain upon dry soil, and let the presence of the angels remind you that you are never alone, for you are surrounded by light, carried by love, and held by hands that will never let go. And as you rest in this moment, remember that you are chosen, you are cherished, and you are treasured beyond measure. And nothing in this world has the power to delete the truth of who you are in the eternal heart of the Father. Archangel Michael says, "The voice of heaven does not grow weaker, it grows stronger with each breath of your soul, because the Father is determined that you will not miss this holy moment, and the 7 angels standing with you are lifting their voices higher still, so that you may know without doubt that you are chosen, you are loved, and you are held within a divine promise that cannot be erased, for though the world may try to cover the truth, nothing has the power to delete what God has already written upon your life with His eternal hand. Your days have carried both pain and wonder, and there were seasons when you felt the weight of sorrow press so heavily that you thought you could not go on, yet even then the presence of Christ surrounded you in silence, keeping your heart alive when it longed to give up, and holding you with invisible strength until the storm passed, and now that strength is rising once more, not in shadows but in light, calling you to see that every moment you have walked, no matter how heavy, has been filled with His care and guided by His mercy. The angels look upon you with compassion, for they have seen your tears and they know your struggles, yet they also know that your story does not end in brokenness, because the Father has prepared healing, joy, and peace for you, blessings that flow not only to restore what was lost but to lift you higher into the fullness of His love. And this is why they plead so urgently, because the time has come for you to let go of fear, to release your burdens, and to open your spirit fully to the love that has always been waiting for you. Trust may feel like the most fragile thing you can offer, yet it is also the most powerful gift you can give, because when you choose to trust God even in the midst of uncertainty, He takes your small faith and multiplies it into strength that carries you further than you imagined, and though doubts may rise, His truth will always remain, steady and constant, whispering that you are His child, whispering that you are safe, and whispering that your life has meaning that cannot be diminished by shadows or erased by the voices of despair. This is why heaven's urgency carries such weight, because the Father knows how precious your soul is, and He will not allow you to be lost, He will not allow your hope to be destroyed, He will not allow your life to be erased, for you were created for light, You were created for love, and you were created for eternal communion with Him. And though the world may press against you with distractions and fear, God's call rises louder, reaching into your spirit with tenderness, urging you to believe and to embrace the mercy being poured upon you in this moment. Type 444 if you believe in God's divine protection.